Hello everyone, I hope you're having a great day. This week's video will feature a block. It measures 12.5 unfinished or 12 inches finished. It is a square format. I think this is a really fun way to use up various sizes of scraps. So to begin with, what we're going to do is start with a 4 patch, and I've got 2 low volume or lighter background and then 2 darker high contrast. These are 2.5 inches square, so I will join them together, 1/4 inch seam here and here, and then join them together to complete the 4 patch. So let me go ahead and do that, and I'll show you what comes next. Okay, so I have the 4 groups of 4 patches put together, and you'll see that they are a variety of colors because the whole idea behind this pattern is to use up your scraps. So I'm using kind of blues and burgundies because that's what I seem to have a lot of these days. And then what I'm doing is I'm taking some half square triangles, and I picked ones that have kind of a lighter hue to go in the center, and I'm pairing them up like this. If mismatched things drive you crazy, you can certainly make them the same, but I'm wanting to have a total scrappy look. And then the last one is similar to this one here. So what we're going to do, as in sets, we're going to join them with a 1/4 inch seam. They will look like a flying goose because that's what they are, but they are, as I said, scrappy, so I'm using up HSTs. You can sub them into a 2.5 by 4.5 inch flying goose if that's what you have to use. So let me go ahead and do these, and then I'll show you what comes next. So I now have these sewn together as my flying geese. I really like how the scrappy look comes together. So like that. As you can see, these are from someone else's project where they marked them up, and I've making them into this block. So next we're going to take some 2.5 inch squares, and we're going to pair them up and join them in the center. If you don't want to use the squares, you can certainly use a potato chip that measures 2.5 by 4.5. The choice is yours. Because this is scrappy and I have a lot of 2.5 inch blocks or scraps in my bucket, this is the size I'm wanting to use. So either or is up to you. You're going to need either 4 of the potato chips, or you're going to need 8 of the 2.5 inch squares and join them together in sets so that you end up with 4 of those. So these are the colors that I have. Again, they're all in the blues. I have these as well. And then I have another pair like this. So I'm going to go ahead and join those up, and then I'll show you what comes next. So with the 2 patches sewn together like this, we're now going to take them with our mock flying geese, and we're going to sew them together like this. And this is where, if you've got a seam going this way, then you can make sure the seam is going the other way, and then you've got a nice nesting situation going on. So what I'm going to do is match these all together. I'm going to join them with a 1/4 inch seam, and then I'll show you how this all comes together to make this beautiful block. Okay, so we're now ready to assemble this into our finished quilt block. So you're going to make two sections that you'll take your 4 patches. You'll join it to this last section that we made with our mock flying geese. And you want to make sure that the dark part of the 4 patches are touching the flying geese. So you're going to make 2 of these, and then I'll show you what comes next. So I now have these joined together like that. That in itself would be kind of a neat pattern. I'll have to think about that for something down the road. So what we're going to do is we need something to go in the center, so we can take 2 potato chips in a background, which are 2.5 by 4.5. You could do a 4.5-inch square, or you could also make them up out of 2.5-inch squares by piecing them together. Pretend there's another one there to make that 4.5-inch block. I'm going to use the potato chips because that's what I have a lot of on hand right now and the color that I want. So what we'll do is we'll join these together, and then we will add one of these units to each end like this, and that will end up being our 3rd row. With the center unit now joined together, I'm going to add one like this to the top. So you'll see that the points or the mock flying geese are facing out. And then we'll add another one to the bottom like this. And then the block is done. So let me go ahead and do that, and I'll show you what it looks like. So here's the block all finished. Again, it measures 12.5 by 12.5. We started with our 4 patches, which are in our corners. Then we did the mock flying geese, 4 of them. We joined them with a 2 patch and then another center square. If you wanted to use potato chips, which are 2.5 by 4.5, you could certainly use them to swap out these here. So in place of the 2 patch, you could use the 2.5 by 4.5. So that would be right there like that. But again, I'm trying to use up a lot of my smaller scraps, so I decided to put this block together. I'll continue making more, but I know I won't get it done before this video needs to be uploaded. So please take a look for future videos when I show off some of the quilts that I've actually finished and been able to donate to a worthy cause. So until next time, sew safely and sew with Debee. Have a great day, and bye for now.